As we've reported, starting tomorrow, the state is re-implementing a mask mandate indoors, regardless of vaccination status. So how will that impact the workplace? Joining us now live to discuss that is healthcare attorney and policy expert Harry Nelson. Thanks, Harry, for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Great to be with you.
Thank you. How does this change life for most Californians? We have rules in place now in places.
So about half the state, Los Angeles and the 7 Bay Area counties, have already been under countywide indoor mask mandates. So the big change is for the other half of the state, which is San Diego, Orange County, the Inland Empire, Central Valley, and rural Northern California. We're now all statewide under one statewide mandate. So public indoor masking for everybody, irrespective of your vaccination status.
What is the reality if businesses don't mandate it?
So it's a tricky thing, right? It is the law, it is a requirement, but the question is always, how is the law going to be enforced? And the reality in many parts of the state is that law enforcement, sheriffs, including, for example, Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva, have indicated that they're not going to spend resources to go after businesses or that violate it. So I think it's going to be a case-by-case thing, and frankly, it's a tricky position for business owners. You have some people who are very unhappy about this, some people who are very unhappy that people aren't going to comply with it, and business owners have to find a way to earn everybody's trust and keep the peace, and not to expect, I wouldn't expect that law enforcement is going to be heavily involved in the vast majority of cases.
Does it get sticky legally when public policy becomes state policy governing people's actions?
I think, well, it raises a tricky political issue. There's no question, we have evidence that from a public health perspective that masks help, but this has raised a very serious political issue because there's a lot of fatigue out there, a lot of people frustrated with the way that the rules are being imposed. And so I do think it's going to make it more of a polarizing political issue, even though the goal here is just to keep the COVID numbers in check.
And you talked about how hard it is to really enforce some of the businesses. Are there any consequences if they're not doing it?
Well, there are citations, right? It's not a criminal issue, but businesses can be issued misdemeanors and can be fined and given penalties. So there are consequences for not following it. If a city attorney or a local statewide police or county police actually enforce it, but it's only going to be an issue when that happens.
All right, healthcare attorney and policy expert Harry Nelson, we appreciate your expertise this afternoon. It all starts tomorrow.